There have been rumors that a crypto winter is coming. What if they are true? There's a story taking shape. There is a story going around the internet that makes it seem like we are on the verge of a long bear market. It comes through in the way it sounds, a feeling of dread that builds up, a view that the days of low prices are just a warm-up for something much worse. For people who have XRP, if this story sounds like an alarm clock in the middle of the night, I have something else to say. In these unstable markets, it's always smart to be careful, but we can't afford to be afraid all the time. Is this really the start of the end? What if this is just the quiet, nervous moment before a big paradigm shift? Not only should we look at the daily charts, but we should also look at the tectonic plates of finance, technology, and business strategy that are moving right under our feet. First, let's look at the big picture of the economy as a whole. This is where the first clear signs of a changed world can be seen. It was just reported that Canada's economy has suddenly shrunk, falling at an annualized rate of 1.6%. This isn't just a small drop. This is the biggest drop in the economy since the pandemic's worst days. There is a much bigger problem going on than this one piece of data from one country. Economies around the world are showing signs of stress as a result of long-term economic tightening. There's more to the story now. When the economy is weak across the board, it gives central banks a strong reason to change direction. It becomes one of the most important factors that pushes their hand, making interest rate cuts not just possible, but also inevitable. And I'm sure that a rate cut is coming soon, and not just in Canada, but here in the US as well. In that case, the money won't just come in. There will be a flood of trillions of dollars that will desperately try to find a new home in all financial markets, even digital assets. These big currents are slowly changing the direction of the world, but something much more direct and exciting has just happened in the XRP environment. The shocking news came from a big Japanese video game business that just went public. As I write this, they are in the process of buying XRP worth an amazing 2.5 billion yen to put on their books. Let's translate the number first, though, before you throw it away. That's a deal worth about 17 million US dollars. Of course, that amount of money might not seem like much to some, but that would be missing the point of the act itself, which was to change the world. This is more than just a buy. It is a statement. Companies that are sold on the stock market are no longer just playing around with blockchain. They have chosen to keep XRP as a core asset in their treasury balance. This is a huge change in how people think and what they're doing. From speculation to fundamental unity, there is a change. This trend is not a one-off event. The Japanese video game company is not all by itself. They're part of a pack that's getting bigger quickly. As I looked into the other day, more than 60 big companies are now actively looking into how to use XRP as a cash backup. This is something that hasn't happened in earlier market cycles. It didn't happen the year before or the year before that. People who believe in the long-term potential of XRP should find this very encouraging. Why? Because this plan does three very important things at the same time. To begin, it gradually takes XRP out of circulation, making a natural lack of it. Second, this drop in supply helps to make the price floor more stable and reliable. Third, and most importantly, it is clear proof that this technology is being used and deeply ingrained in the business world. It's not just a story that 2.5 billion yen were bought. It's another important step toward building a new banking system. Of course, the chances for holders change as the environment does. This brings us to an important discussion about risk and return, which was brought into sharp focus by leaders like Paul Barron, the founder of Flare. The future of keeping assets is not set in stone. It changes all the time. New technologies such as FXRP on the Flare network will make it possible to put your XRP in safe vaults, which will let you earn interest on your holdings. It's an appealing idea, and a trustworthy business like Flare gives me a lot of faith. However, it's important to understand a basic truth that Paul himself stressed. There is no way to get a prize without taking some risks. Doing your own research is very important before you start any program that promises to make you money. You need to know how it works, what the safety measures are, and what the risks are, even if they don't seem very big. This rule is true even if you are only holding crypto, which is an asset type known for its volatility. For each investor, the choice between active yield and fortified security leads them down a different road. If you value peace of mind, institutional-grade custody solutions such as those provided by iTrust Capital protect your funds safely. These solutions come with excellent customer service and even allow you to store XRP in an IRA to lower your capital gains taxes. It's a plan for keeping things the same. But the changes at Flare are very exciting for people who are interested in the possibility of benefits. They are also looking into prize systems, and as soon as September comes around, there will be big changes to FXRP staking. The most important thing to remember is that the ecosystem is growing up and becoming more diverse, but it is always the investor's job to know what risks are involved. When you contrast the calculated risks of owning an asset like XRP, which has a clear use case and is backed by institutions, with the pure risk of other speculative cryptocurrencies, the risk profile is very different. Let's talk about the storm that is coming. One thing is that companies are quietly building up their wealth, but another thing is that a flood of institutional capital is building up behind the wall of rules. A shocking fact was brought up in a story that came out just today. There are 92 different digital asset exchange traded funds, ETFs, waiting for the SEC to make a big choice. It's not a question of if, but when. A lot of people are about to agree to the first crypto ETFs, a thing that will happen that will change the market forever. And we've already felt the first shake when an XRP ETF for a fund called LONG was approved. The gates are opening up a little. The institutional imports will be unlike anything we have ever seen when they swing wide. This is exactly why the story of a multi-year bear market starts to fall apart when looked at more closely, especially for XRP. So when people at the top of their field say that XRP will be worth $1,000 in 5 years, it's not just empty talk.